Tonight, we're going to look a little bit more about how the Fast for Peace serves in Building America 4.0. Building America 4.0, the purpose of the American Union. And this is an effort to change the way that American government works. The way we like to start these meetings off is by reciting the preamble to the Constitution. It's a reminder of what our duties are as Americans, what we're here for. If you like, you're welcome to unmute and recite it with me. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Those are our duties as Americans. Those are the 5 things that the framers told us we should be doing, starting with establish justice. And we've lost our way in the 21st century. By steering America back to these constitutional duties, we can help address many problems in America. The 4 stages of this constructive program address cultural, social, electoral, and political reforms. And so the first stage is the self-improvement stage that's optional, the 30-day challenge that creates a base of sobriety, of self-improvement. Stage 2 is where everybody starts. Anything below stage 1 is completely voluntary. Stage 2 is the Fast for Peace, which we're going to talk about tonight. The next step up is the American Union, where you accept responsibility to look out for other people. And so you work your way up the mountain using those skills that you practice, self-improvement, so that you can look out for more people and accept more responsibility, accept your duty to others. And then further on is the Phoenix Congress, is the people's legislative body that drafts the legislative package that makes up the demands of the American Union. So tonight we're gonna look at the fast, and America has many problems. So the purpose here is to develop a constructive alternative to the status quo. And as Gandhi said, the means can be likened to a seed, the end to a tree, but there's the same inviolable connection between the means and the end as there is between the seed and the tree. And so building a better America built on nonviolence means starting with ourselves. And that, again, is why it starts with ourselves and self-improvement. The fast itself is, well, what is the fast? So this comes from Gandhi's Fast for Peace on August 15th, 1947. Fastforpeace.org was founded on the 70th anniversary of that. And he challenged the people of India, who were about to see their country divided into 3 pieces as the British gave them their independence. He challenged them to come together in a day of fasting. He said the 15th is the day of our trial. Observe a fast on that day. And in the city of Kolkata, where he was, a city that had been fighting between Hindus and Muslims, it had been a city under siege for a year. The people accepted that challenge, and people fasted together. And one of Gandhi's biographers described the scene as like the Christmas truce during World War I, when the French and the German troops stopped fighting on Christmas Day, 1914. And the people of Kolkata came together. And the reason it worked is because people wanted it to work. And the way that they opted in to a more peaceful society, the way they demonstrated that, was through the shared self-sacrifice of the fast. The fast itself, the Fast for Peace, is a 24-hour period without food or intoxicants. In previous years, people would ask, could you smoke marijuana while you were fasting? And the answer was, well, that's technically not against the rules. But for the 2024 campaign, we've upgraded the rules, the definition. So no food, no intoxicants, just drinking water. And whatever 24-hour period works for you, that's mostly on the 15th of the month. So it's flexible around people's schedules, but it takes a commitment, it takes an intention to willfully abstain from food for a 24-hour period. Gandhi recommended a dinner-to-dinner fast. That's what I suggest to people. So no, you don't go to bed hungry. So you eat your dinner and then skip breakfast and lunch, and then after 24 hours, go ahead and eat dinner again. That's safe and beneficial for the vast majority of adults. If you're not sure if just drinking water is safe, then you should always check with your doctor. For those who do need medical exemptions, and this isn't not a suicide pack or anything. We don't want anybody to hurt themselves. We want to help people be better. So, if you need fruit or fruit juice or something so that you can be safe, then you should obviously do that. But for some people who do have medical conditions, have chosen other things to fast from for 24 hours, to put that intention into their day of cooperation. And building a better society. So by having this be as a monthly event to rally people around, we've got something to invite people to participate in 15th of each month. And it's shared on social media with the hashtag Fast for Peace, which is lowercase by intention. And encourage some gamification by having people keep score of each month that you participate in and using it as a keeping track with the number as the denominator of the fraction. And so since you can only score 1 point per month, this is a incredibly slow process. And as we'll talk about in a minute, that's delayed gratification is one of the cultural changes that the fast helps encourage. But it really reinforces that to work for peace, that's a long-term effort. There's no just quick fix. There's no silver bullet where everything's magically solved all at once. It's a long-term process. And so, as you know, our targeted block of swing voters is 3.5%, which has been calculated as the percentage of the population that's needed for a nonviolent movement to achieve political change. And so the Fast for Peace is 3.5% of a month, 1 day per month, so that people can work on the causes and the issues that are important to them all month long. But then once a month, come together, stand together, amplify everyone's message across social media towards a very specific political goal of influencing the 2024 election. Constructive program, all the pieces of the constructive program reinforce each other. And so those 4 pieces are the cultural, social, electoral, and political issues in this country. And so fasting relates to all, the Fast for Peace relates to all of these. It's voluntary, so it's an opt-in process, which is really important in building a culture based on principled nonviolence, that people are there because they want to be. And there's so much in society today that is coercive. Conservatives may look at the power of government as being coercive, and Democrats look at economic power as being coercive. And so by creating a voluntary system, we try and get away from those sorts of things. The fasting encourages personal growth. Some of the benefits, some of the things that it does, the problems that we have in our American culture now that we're dealing with, issues like greed, overconsumption, instant gratification, focus on self. And so practicing fasting is a way of practicing better behavior, saying, look, I could eat today, but I'm going to choose not to, because there are larger issues that are more important than just me. Again, addressing that issue of overconsumption and all the gas stations, fast food, Dunkin' Donuts, everything that's all over the place that, if you have some impulse, that it can easily be answered. And so practicing once a month, saying, no, I'm going to choose not to. It's a demonstration of free will. And then again, as part of the larger picture of, instead of the focus on self that is very common in our culture today, Fast for Peace is about the larger picture. Martin Luther King defined peace not as the absence of tension, but the presence of justice. And there's numerous health benefits to a day of fasting as well. As America, there's a bit of an obesity crisis for a number of reasons, not the least of which is food that we're sold. But so helping people realize that they can skip a few meals, that they have the power to exert their own mind over it. Other health benefits of fasting once a month, it encourages the production of human growth hormone, can improve your insulin sensitivity. There's many health benefits to it. And so, like many other things, it's easier to do in a group. If you ever had a gym membership by yourself, maybe you weren't as good about going, but if you had a buddy, then you guys would go to the gym every day and, you support and encourage each other. So by having one national day of fasting on the 15th of each month, will create an opportunity for us to support each other in these positive habits. So those are some of the ways that the Fast for Peace encourages cultural reform. As far as social reform, we are an incredibly divided country. We are purposely polarized by the Republicans and Democrats to keep us pitted against each other instead of working together to solve the problems that America faces. And so the Fast for Peace each month, again, peace is the presence of justice. It's an invitation for cooperation. Say, look, we have the ability to solve these problems. We're the greatest country in the world. We're the richest, most powerful country in the world. There's no reason why these problems exist except for a lack of political will to fix them. And we, the people, have the power to change it. And so the Fast for Peace is an invitation to come together and say, yes, I want to cooperate to solve these problems. It also helps to seize the moral high ground. This is one of Martin Luther King's principles of nonviolence, that unearned suffering is redemptive. And you probably know the story of the Birmingham bus boycott, where the Black community in Birmingham boycotted the segregated bus system in 1954, 1955 for over a year until segregation was finally ended. And they seized the moral high ground. They willingly gave something up. They willingly abstained from taking the buses. And that shared self-sacrifice, again, gave them the moral high ground to say, look, we're just not going to do business with you. What you're doing is wrong, and we're not going to cooperate. And the shared self-sacrifice also helped bring them together as a community, that they were all in it together. And so the shared self-sacrifice is the opportunity to create a new coalition completely unrelated to political affiliation in America. FAST also anchors change in nonviolence. We have seen an increase in violence in the political sphere for a number of reasons, and not the least of which is economic stress, that most people in this country couldn't meet an extra $400 bill without borrowing money. 140 million people are, in or near the poverty line. And this massive wealth inequality in America keeps people under stress. And so people start to snap. If you look back in history in the 1930s, when there's great wealth inequality, one of the symptoms was rampage shootings. They had mass shootings back in the 1930s because when the fabric of the social contract wore thin, people just gave up. And so you can see that as contributing to the problems that we have today. So while some people are ready to give up and embrace violence as a way to deliver political change, this is a strictly nonviolent effort. And the monthly fast is a way of keeping us anchored and centered on that. Fasting encourages electoral reform. So as we talked about last week, these monthly fasts culminate on October 15th, 2024, which is just before the general election. And all Americans who are willing to pool their votes around the demand for immediate passage of the legislative package are invited to join the Fast for Peace on October 15th. And this includes the challengers and the incumbents for Congress in all 469 races. And the goal is to pressure both challengers and incumbents to compete for this block of swing voters by supporting this demand, and incumbents to earn the endorsement, regardless of party, by acting to put the legislative package on the president's desk for the election and de-escalating the 2024 elections, offering a way that we can come together around solutions instead of having another bitter, polarizing election. The fast serves as building a parade for politicians to get out in front of. So one of the things that we'll be building over the next year are affinity groups where people will target politicians or other influential people to try and persuade them to participate in the fast. So by making this a big social event that people can participate in no matter where they are across the country. Nissan and I met at the anti-war rally in DC, and there was a couple thousand people there last month. But it's not practical in a nation this large to get everybody in one place to all stand for the same thing. So the fast is a way that we can have a national movement without actually requiring people to move to a central location. And again, this is a nonviolent model. This is about defining conditions and trying to help members of Congress succeed. What does it matter whether they're Republican or Democrat, trying to help them succeed in accomplishing those. And so it's a strictly positive effort compared to a lot of the other electoral politics that are very negative, where people try and win by denigrating their opponents and smearing the other party. This is strictly a positive message. This is a fast for peace. We can choose not to fight in electoral politics and instead focus on what are the solutions that we want to see enacted. And so the last portion of the constructive program is crowdsourcing the legislative process. And so a People's Congress, the Phoenix Congress, and as well as other members of the American Union qualify to vote each month on various issues and questions by participating in the FAST. Again, it's an opt-in process. We're going to talk more about how that crowdsourced legislative process will work next week. Again, this comes back to leading by example and demonstrating a willingness to sacrifice even just a few meals for the greater good, for steering America back to our constitutional duties. But that's just an overview on how the FAST serves to connect all four of these stages. Through the 30-day challenges, we do the 2 fasts to demonstrate that we are capable. And one of the other purposes for that is so that when it comes to the fast on October 15th, 2024, is to know that we're capable and to acknowledge that we have a binary choice. Either we can cooperate to come together around solutions and de-escalating the election, or we can choose not to. It's an either or. And by leading by example and encouraging other Americans to recognize the power that we all have, that works on stage 2. The American Union, again, organizers in the American Union, as we talked about last week, lead by example and are expected to participate in the FAST each and every month and to promote it. And then the Phoenix Congress, again, delegates are expected to participate in the FAST each month as their qualification for being able to vote. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And if anybody has any questions, happy to answer that.